Welcome back to the Microfamily Millionaire. This is the sub-series to the Share the Wealth show, where we dive deep into the strategies, experience, and mindsets that are crucial for building lasting wealth through real estate. I'm your host, Nicole, and today I'm actually really excited to share a powerful strategy that can finally bring clarity to helping you confidently choose the right market for your multifamily investments, but without feeling overwhelmed by the data, right? First, let's take a moment to kind of reflect and think on the standard thought process of market research. If you're new to real estate investing, or if you're looking to expand your holdings into a new market, or even actually if you've been mentored by one of the big guys, the gurus that are teaching real estate syndications, then you really probably think it's wise to keep your options open and look for a great deal anywhere because there are a lot of great markets out there, right? And the last thing you want to do is to miss out on a great opportunity. And on the other hand, if you've tried to do some in-depth market research to really hone in on the area, you've probably tried sorting through tons of reports and looking at rental market data, or have relied on like outdated market advice that happen to be based more on opinion than fact. Because without a clear process, it's really easy to feel stuck. And all the data makes it hard to focus and to confidently choose an area that you want to invest in. So you end up just start looking at listings instead, because let's be honest, you can't help yourself because you're an investor, right? Or you want to be an investor, or you want to expand, and you're tired of just staring and trying to figure out and decipher market data, charts and graphs and all of that. You want to get to the meat and potatoes of this thing, which is the properties. I know because I've been sitting there before, staring at a computer for so long that my eyes feel like they are like about to pop out of my head, and that they're crossing, and my head and my back hurts and all of that stuff. And I'm also convincing myself that I have to uncover every stone in every market so that I can compare every little detail and pick the best market, right? So I get it. I get it. But there is a couple of problems here. One, if you start looking for the property first, you end up having to do at least high level market research every time you pick a different property to analyze. And that is a time suck. But if you start trying to select a market first by doing market research the traditional way, you end up with your eyes falling out of your head, confused about how to interpret all the data, and you end up getting stuck in analysis paralysis, which means you actually never pick a market, and in turn means you actually never start looking at properties. And that is a momentum suck. We don't want either of those to happen. It's also self-sabotage disguised as progress, procrastination disguised as perfectionism. It's very easy to get those two confused. But today, we're going to change that. If you're new to investing, or you want to expand into a new area, you really should be searching for one market to jump into. The benefits of picking one market are you really get to learn that market. You get to learn who the big players are, where the path of progress is, the micro sub communities to go to or to stay away from. And you really become an expert in that area. So it's hard to get that level of detail in multiple markets out the gate. You get overwhelmed by trying to juggle what's going on in each market if you're focused on too many places. So that's why it's highly recommended to stick to one place. The other benefit really is it's like the faster you just go ahead and pick a market and not overthink it, the faster you can actually start analyzing properties, right? Now imagine instead of feeling lost in a sea of information, you have a streamlined approach to choosing your right market. You're making informed decisions, you're actually spending time building your team, and now your portfolio is growing in a high potential, strong, and consistent area, all without tons of hours of research. That's where we want to get to. And I want to help you get to that point faster. And that's why I developed the L3 Market Mapping Roadmap. It's a simpler and quicker way to pick the right market. And this is after my own struggles with data overload. I created this framework to make market selection easier and faster so you can get to what really matters in investing, buying a property and getting that cash flow and starting that momentum of building your portfolio, right? Ultimately, I just need you to stop getting in your own way. I need you to sidestep the overwhelm and just get started. We have a wealth gap here to shorten. And so I need you to go ahead and jump in. So, step one of my framework is likability. What this is, it's really just identifying markets that you like. This brain dump every market that you're interested in. Don't worry about data yet. Think about places you've been to that you love or you enjoy visiting regularly, or where you have connections like family or friends that you like to visit. Because if you like the market, you're more likely to be motivated to visit and maintain strong connections there. That also leads to like a more engaged investment. You can actually plan vacations around your property visits. And some parts of those visits might even be tax deductible because those parts of the visits are for business and it was pre-planned that way. So that's a little extra bonus of actually liking the area where you invest, but you need to also talk to your CPA about how to document and do that correctly so that actually is a tax write-off. Okay. So if you end up choosing a market that you're disconnected from, it's going to feel more like a chore to manage. You're not going to want to go there. You're going to make every excuse to stay away. But not everything all the time can be virtual. Like you actually might need to get there and you might be missing out on opportunities that you would see if you were present and have exposure to like what's happening on the ground there. You are building a business, right? So you need to get over not liking the area and just get there. But why not just throw that whole situation out the window from the get-go and don't even pick a place that you wouldn't want to go visit? Okay. So we're getting that excuse out the way. So right now, I want you to pause this episode and take no more than 5 minutes to just brain dump all the markets that appeal to you. Don't overthink it, just get them down. Preferably pick cities, but you could also pick counties or MSAs. MSA is a metropolitan statistical area, but you want to just at least pick cities or just brain dump as many as you can. All right, pause this and do that now. Okay, so if you've done that, now step two of the framework is the logistics. So if we have our full list of all the markets that we like, now we're going to narrow it down based on logistics. How easy is it to travel there? Is the market ideally within a 1 to 2 hour drive or a 1 to 2 hour direct flight? You don't want a bunch of layovers. Consider your lifestyle too. Like, do you have flexibility to take off from work and to get to the property for like extreme emergencies? Do you have trusted contacts in the area? Do you have kids at home and have access to like last minute childcare? What if you have other responsibilities at home? Would you be able to go to see your property and come back the same day if needed? Being able to access the market easily or having boots on the ground is really key. Like it ensures that you can manage any issues, visit the properties, handle emergencies, and all of that quickly and effectively. Everyone's lifestyle and time is different. So you really have to think realistically about your ability to get to that area. At least for newer investors, you want to just start. You want to get started and stop the excuses that you can't do things, right? You don't have to stay in that market forever. So don't think this is your forever market. Just like your first house shouldn't be your forever house. This is not your forever market. It's your starter market. But you don't want to start across the country when you're newer and you don't have the network to really leverage to be boots on the ground in whatever that area is. So if logistics end up being too difficult, even if you like the area, it's just going to be too much of a hassle to get there and too much time and headache to kind of coordinate travel and do the things you need to do. Even if you have a property manager, sometimes you actually need to still go there, right? Once you develop that relationship with your property manager, once you develop relationships with boots on the ground, your requirement to be there will be less. But at the beginning, when you're getting started, you want it to be easy to access. So what we're going to do now, take the markets from your first likability list that you brainstormed, right? See which ones make sense logistically. So write all those markets down. You have them written down. Now, next to those markets, write how long it takes to get there, either driving or flying. As a quick tip, there's actually a website called flightsfrom.com. That's FLIGHTSFROM.com, flightsfrom.com. And that helps you actually see flight times from your main airport to other airports across the country, and if there's direct flights there or not. I say about 2 hours is good as a maximum, but you know your lifestyle and how much time you have and you can devote to travel and how much freedom you have with other responsibilities in life. But I really don't advise more than 3 hours for one way to get to your property or to your market. If you have to fly 2 hours, then go rent a car and then drive another 2 hours, that's not really that efficient. Okay. So now pause, take your likability list, go through and make sure that it is logistically feasible. Cross off any markets that are more than 1 to 2 hour drive or more than 1 to 2 hour direct flight. So pause this and do that now. All right, welcome back. So the third step of the L3 market mapping framework is longevity. Now, this is actually where we get into some of that traditional market research data. We're going to just take what's left on your list and we're going to dive into the metrics of the long-term growth. So you don't need all the data that you could potentially research right now. You just want to start. This is the whole motive of the L3 framework, is to get you started and get you to jump in without overthinking, get you out of your own way, right? So these are the 6 metrics that are the essentials for ensuring that you have a strong foundation with your market selection. So the first one is job growth and job diversity. Jobs drive population, and diversity hedges one industry from bringing down the entire local economy. You want to have diversity in the jobs that are the major providers for that market, because if, let's say, the major employer in the market is a school, and then schools get shut down like they did during the pandemic, then that's gonna really strongly affect the economy, and you'll have a dip for however long until things start moving and getting together again. Or let's say Detroit, for example. Let's say automotive is the main employer, and then plants start closing down or moving to other areas, and now no one has jobs, and it's hard for that market to recover. Your investment will suffer. So let's have some job diversity, and let's have a bunch of different major employers, right, instead of just one. Number 2, population growth. People need someplace to live. So the jobs are bringing the population in, the population is growing. And so now you have a better tenant pool to choose from, right? 2% growth is considered high growth. And so if you see that, then that's good. But honestly, when you're looking at the trend, you just want to see a positive incline. Okay. Number 3 is the median household income. You don't want that to be too low. If your focus is voucher programs like Section 8 or something, then that could be okay. But ultimately, you still want to have the whole city or the bigger pool for your tenant population. So I would ideally keep the median household income between 50 and 75K, I think is a safe range. And that's a range that a lot of other investors look at as well. 4 is vacancy rates. You want to make sure your units can get released quickly. You don't want to sit in vacant for 3 or 4 months before you can get a quality tenant in there. Okay. You don't really want it to be lower than the national average. And at the time of this recording, the national average I looked up is about 6%, 6.6% for rental properties. And number 5 is housing affordability, which across the board is agreed to be about 30% of your income is what you should be spending on rent or mortgage or housing expenses. Number 6 is probably one of the biggest things: landlord and business friendliness. So how quickly can you evict somebody for non-payment? What are the rules and regulations for businesses and landlords? Does the city make it easy to work with them, to provide quality housing, but to get people who are not cooperating with the lease terms to get them out so that you can get someone else who needs housing in. Okay. This is not a charity. We do want to help, but we do also need to make revenue for our own families in the process of investing. So we're providing a service and we should get paid for that service. So these 6 metrics really are indicators of a market's health and potential for long-term success. They tell you if the market has room for growth and profitability. Of course, there's like a ton of other metrics and stats that you could look at, but I'm giving you what you need to get started quickly, just with a strong foundation. After you pick the market that you want, then you know the fundamentals are great because you've done the preliminary work, but now you can continue to do further research and learn more and get more in depth on that particular market. Now you can learn about the paths of progress, or you can look up the city's economic development plan or whatever it is. But at least you have chosen the market based on a great foundation. And those other things you can research and learn as you're looking for properties, which is what we want to get to. The only thing this is going to do really is just going to help you hone in on your knowledge and expertise in the market so you really can start to get to that block by block type of knowledge base for the area that you're in. If you ignore looking up anything, let's say you just do steps 1 and 2, likability and logistics, right? You might be risking your investment by inadvertently picking like a market that's in decline, or is going to be difficult to find quality residents, or you're not going to be able to operate with the city municipalities like on a consistent and a good basis, like to get things done, right? So what you're going to do now, you have likability, you narrowed it down by logistics. So now you're going to find out these 6 metrics for each of the markets left on your list. Now you can narrow down to the final market. This is all about making it simple, but to help you look up some of those 6 metrics, you can use these 2 sites. Don't get caught up, like I said, in all the other like data that's here. There's a ton of data here. We are avoiding the rabbit hole, right? But just look for the 6 metrics that you need to for this exercise and for this framework. So first, you can look at citydata.com. That's city, CITY dash DATA.com, city-data.com. And the second site you can look at is bestplaces.net. That's bestplaces.net, bestplaces.net. So city-data.com, bestplaces.net. Those are 2 great sites that have a plethora of information where you can find majority of the info you need from the 6 metrics that we're going to be looking at. But also, if you're really lost and you really don't even have any idea where to start, even for your likability list, like even at the very beginning, just to do your brain dumping, right? You can also look up the Milken Best Performing Cities report to help you spearhead that brainstorming. This report contains like 200 of the largest and smallest cities based primarily on like job growth, wage growth, high-tech GDP, high-tech concentration, and housing affordability. So examine those absolute city rankings in the report, but also check out which cities have changed the most year over year versus which cities have like momentum and which cities are losing momentum. The trends, and not just the numbers for this year, the trends of what's been happening the few years prior to this are really important. So do not neglect those. But Milken, MILKEN, Best Performing Cities Report. Google that for the year that you're watching this to get the most updated version, and use that to help you with step 1 of your likability list if you really are lost. So anyway, now that you've learned how to simplify your market selection with the L3 market mapping framework, you have really what you need to select a market that has great fundamentals and makes sense for you and for your lifestyle and your logistics and feasibility and all of that. Like, I also have a free guide. There's a bonus to help you walk through this framework. But if you want that guide, just email market map in the subject to sharethewealthshow@gmail.com. Sharethewealthshow@gmail.com. Email in the subject market map, and I will send you over the free bonus of the framework to help guide you through the selection process. But also, if you want a more hands-on, like one-on-one with helping you select your market or any other part of your small multifamily investment journey, email one-on-one in the subject to that same email, sharethewealthshow@gmail.com, sharethewealthshow@gmail.com. If you want one-on-one guidance, put one-on-one in the subject line, and then I'm going to reach out to you and we'll set up a call and see how I can personally work together with you and customize a process for what you need help with. It's all customizable. I want to see you guys succeed. Like I said, I want this wealth gap to be diminished, demolished, all of that. And so I need more of us to get into the field and start being active and get out of our own way so that we can make things happen. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see how you apply this strategy to find your ideal market. Make sure you let me know what market you pick. I really want to know. So whether you put it in the comments, if you're watching this on YouTube, whether you leave a rating and review, and in your rating review, you say, hey, you listened to the L3 market mapping framework and you picked your market, and that's where you are. I want to see everything that you guys are doing. Also, check out our show notes for more info on joining our Share the Wealth Show community. Like, that's going to be on all things wealth building. You can hop on in there. We have a bunch of people in there now, devoted listeners of the show, past guests. If you want to speak and coordinate and pick people's brains and just reach out to people and be in a community of like-minded wealth builders, then join us there. Or if you are specifically interested in small multifamily, then you can join our Facebook group that's dedicated to microfamily investing. And microfamily is small 3 to 10 unit multifamily properties. I hope to see you on the inside of either of those groups and communities so we can collaborate. And I'll see you next time. And let's get out of our own ways and make things happen. This is the best time in the market to start getting into multifamily. There's a lot of opportunities out there. Don't miss it. See you next time.